Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Simply Financial Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Calandra. Want to increase your financial IQ with today's episode where I want to discuss with you some research that I recently read from Morningstar, the excellent, at least in my opinion, investing research firm. So some key takeaways from what I read. Number one is Morningstar predicts that 45% of U.S. households will run short of money in retirement. That's upsetting and disappointing, especially given my life's work as a financial planner trying to help people prepare for a successful retirement. What they defined this as, if you ran short of money, the household would either have to return to work or go in debt, or drastically reduce spending, or of course, some combination of the three. So that's a little depressing, I think, although probably not too surprising, given all the other research that I've read and what you see every day, and also what I've shared with you on previous episodes of the show. So that's the first takeaway. The second takeaway is going to be a little bit of a duh, of course, that makes sense, but Morningstar also said that 45% of households who retire at age 65 are likely to fall short. But if you wait to age 70, if you wait 5 more years, that number goes down from 45% falling short to 28% falling short. And I say this is a duh kind of factor because it's always better to wait to retirement. Economically, it's always better to keep working. Because that means that you could save more, have income, and not have to live off of your assets. Perhaps might even mean postponing Social Security benefits, but it's always better to wait. So if you want a greater margin for safety, you could wait until 70. The disappointing part of this is that not everybody can wait until 70 because of health reasons, job loss, family considerations. But it seems as though waiting to 70 for a lot of people is better than 65. Don't love that statistic, but it is probably reality. The biggest of the 3 takeaways I wanted to share with you is directed towards younger workers. The Morningstar forecast found that 79% of Americans would not run short of money in retirement if they had at least 20 years of participation in a 401k or a similar retirement plan like a 403b, and there are other vehicles out there. So 20 years seems very reasonable. If you're looking at your standard retirement age of 65, that means participating from 45 to 65. That is not a big threshold to get over, in my opinion. Lots of Americans, workers at younger ages, are participating in 401ks and the like. Granted, you have to be disciplined to not touch the money along the way. But I think 20 years to get to a 79% success ratio using Morningstar's metrics seems very reasonable. Many of my listeners, many of you who are hearing this know my daughter just turned 24. She's been in the workforce for 2 years, and she is participating in a 401k. Is she maxing out her 401k yet? No, but that's okay. She has other priorities, but it's incredibly likely that she will have way more than 20 years of participation in the 401k when she gets to retirement age, whether you consider that 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, whatever. She's going to have 20 years in. So if you're a young worker and you're hearing this, or if you know a young worker that may benefit from this key piece of information, is you greatly increase the likelihood of not falling short in retirement if you have at least 20 years in. Of course, you could pile the odds in your favor if you have even longer than 20 years. That's what I want to see for young people that I work with and or come into contact with, the people that I want to influence the most, because they can be successful if they start out earlier. And this information is consistent with a lot of other terms you hear out there. For example, it's often said it's not timing the market, but time in the market. Yes, if you have over 20 years in a 401k participating in the market, you are likely to be a successful investor. And also that the power of compound interest, the greatest power in the universe, I think is the often cited quote. I'm not sure that's really from Einstein or not. But it sticks with that too, is the longer you have in the market, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be, because you'll have great benefits that accrue from compounding interest. So those are the three key takeaways from this Morningstar research. Somewhat depressing. They're predicting 45% of households will run short of money in retirement, that 45% of households who retire at age 65 are likely to fall short, but that number goes down to 28% if you wait until 70. I don't think that's very encouraging either. That to me is a bit disappointing, although probably accurate. And then for younger workers, takeaway number 3 is you could get the odds very much in your favor, drive them up to 79%, according to Morningstar, if you have at least 20 years of participation in a 401k or similar retirement vehicle. My opinion is that's an easy threshold to get over. And if you're young, you should be able to do way more than 20 years, even if you're not maxing out and loading a ton of money in the early years. At least getting started will provide major benefits down the line. And that's what this Morningstar research is telling us. I do find that piece of information very encouraging. So thanks for listening to today's episode of the Simply Financial Podcast. Again, this is your host, Chris Calandra. I'll be back with you on the next episode very soon. In the meantime, subscribe to this podcast and check out our website, elliottwealth.com. That's 2 L's, 2 T's, to find more information about the work we do to help our clients win with money. And you could also sign up for a complimentary consultation if you want to talk to us about this or anything else related to your money and good money decisions. Thanks again. I'll be back with you soon.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of Osaic Wealth, Inc., and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note, the information being provided is strictly as a courtesy. When you link to any of the websites provided here, you are leaving this website. We make no representation as to the completeness or accuracy of information provided at these websites. Nor is the company liable for any direct or indirect technical or system issues or any consequences arising out of your access to or your use of third-party technologies, websites, information, and programs made available through this website. When you access one of these websites, you are leaving our website and assume total responsibility and risk for your use of the websites you are linking to. Securities and advisory services are offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Insurance services offered through Elliott Wealth Management Services, LLC, not affiliated with Osaic Wealth, Inc.